gotta talk about the Infernal Flame Banshee and what is actually happening with this card. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't forget about Infernal Flame Banshee out here. Now, for those of you that have forgotten about Infernal Flame Banshee's existence, because don't feel bad, I sometimes like to forget that Infernal Flame Banshee does exist as a card, because, you know, every interaction you see with this card is like, oh, it's Protos, Protos, Protos. But that's not what we're here for. It's a new interaction that the OCG has been doing, because remember, it's 2 level 4s to make it. Yes, this goes just nice and home in Rizal. You can detach a material from it to take a power monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. This is a rank 4 that can search for EX or ICE. This now changes the game actually out here, everybody. That means that if we need to get to an EX Rizal, if it were to potentially become limited, or, you know, an ICE as a starter, we can make the Infernal Flame Banshee and we can actually get to it that way. Oh, nobody's really been too excited about talking about this right now. But in the back of my mind right now, we've already got a couple of these. The Quarter Century's already been exploding up in value. You know, this card is not going easy on the market. We are already seeing movements on Infernal Flame Banshee going up. Just off of week 1 results in the OCG going, oh, hey guys, by the way, one major tournament, everybody in the room's playing Infernal Flame Banshee to go toggle for EX. You've got a ticking time bomb on your hands here with this before it's too late. You've been warned on this one. I do not see a cooldown period on this. This is one of those weird interactions that you kind of just look at out here and you go, huh, there really is something going on with this. So please do keep an eye on this, because I'm very, very, very intrigued about this tech choice. Argo Star. So, evidently, after the second wave of support, Argo Star looks like it is a very competent rogue deck. And I don't know if I'd put it truly in tier 2, but it's enough right now that it's got me excited for this. I love the concept of Argo Stars. The fact that, you know, you can push your fighters up, you can call them to the back, you know, you can rotate in between the sports activities. You know, you're able to control your opponent, but you've also got some really cool other interactions in the deck that kind of come in the other form of the trap monsters, which is really cool. And then, of course, you know, in terms of the new Wave 2 support, I mean, you don't really care about the monster. You really kind of care about the spell card. I assume that we'll get a third wave of Argo Star stuff out here, but it's been asked a couple times out here, you know, with how cheap the Argo Star stuff is it, you know, is it really worth it to want to approach this as an idea? You know, do I want to make sure I have Argo Star cards out here for the potential future? You know for a fact this deck is currently sitting at, like, low tier 2. With that knowledge of understanding what a rogue deck is and how cheap the stuff is, you know you'll see this stuff get reprinted eventually in the tins. And if you're looking at Quarter Centuries, I mean, we already know that this is the last call for Quarter Centuries. Between the 2 sets, we already know, you know, what you're getting available. That's it, it feels like. So I'm not saying to rush out and pick this stuff up, but if you believe in Argo Stars, you're like, yes, Konami's going to get us a third wave of support, you know, we're gonna eventually see something, then sure, there is a possibility that you could see something really, really solid for this deck. I think that it's got a lot of coolness about it. It's definitely one of the more unique decks that I feel like we've actually seen in the modern era gameplay out here. So, the Wandering Titan of Tardos. Now, this is the kind of stuff that, you know, piques my interest, because Mr. Wandering Titan of Tardos is one of those cards you're just like, huh. Okay, so if this card is sent from the deck to the graveyard, send as many cards you control as possible to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card. Then send cards your opponent controls to the graveyard up to the number sent to the graveyard by this effect. Neither player can activate monster effects in response to this effect's activation, and if he's sent to the graveyard except from the deck, send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, send 1 card from the field to the graveyard. Now, you can only use 1 Wandering Titan of Tartaros effect per turn, and only once that turn. Also, Yeah, big boy. He 2600 zero out here. So what in the world has actually even been looking at the Titan of Tartaros right now? It's actually been Eldritch. We originally looked at, some of the funnier gimmicks with the Delta of Temptation when it originally came out. And a few people were like, just play Wandering Titan of Tartaros with this thing, man. You can basically force your opponent to kind of clear their field with Delta of Temptation depending on, how much you've got set up. And that's kind of what they're doing right now with Tartaros. I think that this is by far a hilarious interaction out here. And I do expect to see a little bit more with the Titan of Tartaros out here, just because I think the card looks freaking cool. Man, you've got a literal mythical creature rolling around in the realm of the Eldritch, the Golden Chicken Nugget, and it's actually crazy just to think about. For the interactions we've seen, I think it's a 1 of in the side. I'm not rushing out to pick up a good chunk of these, but this is to make you guys aware of going, hey, Titan of Tartaros is actually looking like a very fun card. You might want to have a copy of this if you're planning on playing Eldritch in the near future. Ryuji. So why Ryuji prices have been very, very, very low out here. We got to talk about this a little bit. So for what we did get for the new support wave out here, I think Ryuji is becoming a little bit better of a deck. Now, if any other deck had received that level of support, I think the reality of the situation, most people would kind of agree, would have made the decks actually just kind of insane. All right, and Konami is, I think, taking note of this. If we do get another wave of support, which could be possible out here, I think Konami could acknowledge that Ryuji does need a little bit more out here, and I would be fine with that, actually. I think most people would actually be okay with giving a power-up to this deck, just to, feel a little bit better about the rogue status of it. But from where I'm sitting right now, I would actually probably want to consider picking up the core just to have it. If you've got like a local experience out here and you're really looking at some cool things to just want to have in general, you're like, I don't really like Malice. I'm not a big Ryzel fan. The Ryuji core, I believe, still cost sub about $20, give or take a little bit. Depends on if you're really trying to get into those $2 super upgrades. Then you're probably looking like 30-ish, maybe upwards to $40. But if you're looking at the base floor level investment, just to kind of get on in and make sure that you can have everything, I think that it's the most solid pickup right now. The big coin flip's going to be, do we get more support for this? If we do, how much better can we make the deck? Because it was very apparent that they wanted all three of these decks to be a little bit better. It just, Ryuji's been suffering from the big pendulum sickness out here. And then we have Typhoon. So Typhoon, once again, I mean, what is it? Just target a face-up spell and trap card on the field, destroy it. If your opponent controls 2 or more spell and trap cards, and you control no spells and traps, it's a free hand trap from the hand. We've been seeing this card pop up a little bit in both formats every once in a while because, we've reached the point out here where spells and traps, I mean, you got them going around everywhere right now. If your opponent's got a field spell that they're activating on the field, sure, congratulations. There's literally one of the first keys that I needed to actually getting Typhoon to trigger from the hand, which is going to be no problem whatsoever. The whole point of this is to make sure that we've started what we needed to do, which was trying to find an out to a problematic spell and trap card that the opponent would be setting up. All right, and the fact that Typhoon is the only technical hand trap that we have that has the ability to pop spells and traps kind of in this interaction is very important. I could eventually see another designed version of this card getting an upgrade. I'm not going to call it truly Typhoon 2, but it's up there on things that you need to be watching right now. When a card starts to enter into the cycle of side decking, and people are like, can we actually, explore this? Can we actually take note of what we've got going here? Then that's at the point that, you need to be scared. So right now we're kind of in the slow phase with this. I'm kind of curious to see, what's going to happen with these cards. But all right, watch your Infernal Flame Banshees, please. Leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace out. Patrons! Thank you! Ah!
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.